All right. Good evening, everybody. Here we are in the Healthcare for All Town Hall with Angelica Dueñas, who is running for California 29th District in the San Fernando Valley. This town hall is co-hosted by Paul Newman, Healthcare for All Los Angeles, and me, Healthcare for All San Fernando Valley. And we're going to talk to Angelica because she is a candidate that will get to Congress in Washington and bring the movement of single payer, of Medicare for all to Washington. And it's amazing. If you go to her website, you'll see what she says about Medicare for all. It's really amazing and very complete. On the other hand, her main opponent, Tony Cardenas, if you go to his website and you look under issues, you'll see that it says healthcare for all, but it doesn't mention a word about Medicare for all, about single payer, about any bills that are related. So we have a chance to support Angelica and get the message to Washington that single payer is the way to go. So perhaps now it's time for Angelica to tell us why she got into this political race and why healthcare for all, why Medicare for all is her top issue in her website. Go ahead, Angelica.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alberto. Thank you, John. And thank you, everybody, Paul, and everybody who's made tonight possible. Thank you, Dessa, Erica, and everybody who has been working tirelessly. Healthcare for Medicare for all, Healthcare for all California. Single payer healthcare at all levels for quite a while. So, like it was said, my name is Angelica Dueñas. I'm running for Congress in the 29th Congressional District, which is in the East San Fernando Valley. And just before the call, we were just talking about, what does the district look like? So with the redistricting, the new lines, it's pretty similar to where it was before. So if you had Tony Cardenas as your representative, he probably would still be in that same space that we're talking about here. So we're talking about Sylmar, over to like pretty much all of North Hollywood, over to Toluca Lake, Toluca Hills, Toluca Woods, part of that, way over there. So all of North Hollywood, over to Van Nuys, all of Van Nuys, over to Panorama City, most of North Hills, Mission Hills, San Fernando, Sun Valley, Pacoima, Arleta, everything in between. So the East San Fernando Valley. Out here, as we know that we've been in a very blighted place. So as far as why I got into politics, it's kind of a complicated, answer. But I did go. I originally went to school. I did get a degree in political science, but I ended up starting a family soon. So my plans diverted, and I really thought that politics was not really in my path, because as most people know, there's a certain way you get into politics, which is the same old, which is you get an internship, maybe you get a job under a corporate, elected official, and you earn your way to even be having the right to run for office. So that wasn't, part of the opportunity that I was given starting a family soon. However, as the things go and how life just got harder, and I was seeing my community dealing with the struggle. In 2015, when Bernie Sanders announced his presidential campaign, and how I saw he was running his campaign, and how you can really run for office and not have to take corporate money, how you can run a very successful campaign with small donations, that really inspired me that, politics didn't have to be what we had seen all this time. And so that was why I when I was asked to run, a while back. So this is not my first run. It was because of the need of better representation. As we know, Tony Cardenas has been representing our community for over 25 years at every level of government, from the city to the state assembly, 8 years, city, 10 years, and now in Congress going on 10 years. He's had more than enough time to show us what he's about. He's taken millions of dollars from mega corporations, super PACs, including his number one donor, Big Pharma and the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm dealing with just a lot of personal issues with having healthcare and not having healthcare. Before the Affordable Care Act, it was even more complicated and hard to qualify for healthcare if you had any conditions and anything like that. So seeing, living the struggle with my community, seeing my neighbors live that struggle, and being a mother, and just thinking of our future, I couldn't just stand by and not do anything about it. So in 2016, I was able to be a delegate for Bernie Sanders in the DNC. I was also a delegate for him in 2020. We've been fighting for these issues alongside our brothers and sisters here in the district. I've been organizing and helping outreach and promote events with local organizers for Medicare for All and for the local SB 562 back when, and AB 14. I'm blanking right now. The one that got blocked.
AB
Just
1400.
I'm sorry.
AB 1400.
1400. Sorry, I was like I was there. At 1400, and these are the struggles that we've been at for a very, very long time. And why are we seeing these popular, very needed policies not passed? Because we have these corporate elected officials in power that are blocking it, even though the people are asking for it. These are popular issues. Single payer healthcare is a very popular policy across the board, not just amongst Democrats, but also amongst Republicans, and even more so now after COVID. So here we are. Like I mentioned, it was just it's a very, very complicated, right? Why I'm here is because of our needs. Our needs are complicated. Our representation has been terrible, and I'm here because our community really does deserve representation that doesn't take corporate funding, that is ready to really listen to the people, and who really understands the struggle. And living in a place with lots of dirty industry, amongst other things, healthcare is a necessity. It's a human right, and we deserve it. And Tony Cardenas has been representing our community for way too long, and he's had more than enough time to show us what he's about. And this is why I'm running.
Very good. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your candidacy? You have a very elaborate website with many issues. Certainly Medicare for All is what we care about, but how does it relate to some of the other issues that you have in your website?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a very robust, platform. So if you have a chance, Angelica4Congress.com, if you click on issues, you'll get to see all of our issues there. But we care about, our community. We are fighting for, obviously, Medicare for All, affordable housing as a human right. Excuse me. Veterans, caring for veterans. Which, if the unhoused community, which if you talk to the unhoused community, healthcare, veterans, actually a large population of those, the unhoused, all of that is related. The environment, Green New Deal. Through the Green New Deal, if you check out our Green New Deal, also very interrelated with education, which we believe that in higher education, or education pre-K all the way through PhD, should be tuition free along with the trades, right? So we should be being able to educate our people tuition free. So all of these issues, they're all interrelated. If we can't be healthy, if we're unhoused, we can't be, caring about education if if we're not, you know, in a good mental state, and we can't think about going to school if, like, you know, a debt is imminent, and maybe even, like, you know, jobs are not guaranteed. So, which goes back to the Green New Deal. So I mean, we are very much a very well-rounded campaign. We touch upon all the issues, and it's not complete. So if you see anything that's missing, please reach out. If we, you know, if it fits within what we believe in, and you know, that we should be talking about, please reach out to us. There are aspects of our women's rights, you know, civil rights, the whole bit, Black Lives Matter. Sorry, I was like, oh, all the issues, you know, any issues that we have left out, please let us know and let's discuss it. If it fits, let's make it part of our platform, because we want to make sure that we're listening to the community, and that we are able to talk about solutions to the problems that matter to our community here.
Very, very good. Now, this is a town hall, so we're going to open it up for questions. Is there anybody that has any questions that would like to ask Angelica?
You can raise your hand in the reactions
Yes.
section of your screen, and then we'll be able to unmute you. Okay, I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Healthcare for All California particularly focuses on bringing single payer to California. We kind of follow the Canadian model of rolling it out, mostly because of the difficulty of passing something on a federal level. But you're running for a federal office, and I'm curious as to your feelings about Jayapal's bill.
Mm-hmm.
And also, assuming that you are elected, where would you start with this issue? Their committee assignments, or I forget what they call the coalitions of representatives in different interest groups, caucuses.
Mhm.
Sorry,
The caucuses, right?
caucuses. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or how would you handle that at a federal level, which is a
Yeah.
huge stumbling block?
I know. Okay. Well, as far as the approach, I think that we need to go at it at all angles, right? I think that, like you had mentioned, in Canada, it was province by province, didn't go across the board. So I think that's fantastic. I think California, there's other states that have a better chance of getting a real Medicare for all single payer healthcare passed regionally, right? I think that's brilliant. I do believe that federally we need to go at it that way as well, because yes, it's unpopular amongst the representatives, but it's not unpopular amongst the people. And so in regards to how would I approach it is, you know, yes, I would try my best to get into a committee, right? Like from my understanding, sometimes it's even that you don't get into the committee that you want, and sometimes they block you. So, and then from my understanding, so it's not as easy. So hopefully I can get into the you know, the committees that we can get that tackled. I would definitely want to join the Progressive Caucus. I would want to hold those people who are members of the Progressive Caucus accountable for what the Progressive Caucus stands for, and what, you know, you know, the issues that they say that they're fighting for. Yet there's members in the Progressive Caucus that are taking millions, you know, tons of money from super PACs and special interest groups that literally are going against, you know, Medicare for all, affordable housing, you know, the list goes on, you know, taking money from the war industry, etc. So I would want to do that. My personal approach, honestly, is going to be to get the people, the masses, or you know, activated. I think that we take it for granted that people know how to organize and how to like mobilize and how to like get things going. Here in Los Angeles, you know, even though even amongst ourselves, activism and the activists are, it's like a small world here. There's still a whole lot of us compared to per capita compared to other areas. So I want to use my platform to train and educate people and how to organize and how to advocate their representatives locally, because I do believe that if we can get the people to actively push for their representatives across the board, whether the Democrat, Republican, wherever people are at, to push for these issues that matter and to get people to organize around the issues and to teach them how to do it and to really do a blueprint and talk about dates and talk about times and where and targets and etc. I think that we really can get our elected to see the light, because if we can if we can be loud enough, not only will we get these things passed, but we'll also be getting more leaders amongst ourselves, and we're going to be, able to run people and take over these seats. So it's a multifaceted angle that I feel that we can take. Is not just, and obviously legislation and talking to, I'm going to be talking to my representative, cohorts and et cetera like that. But I think that really where the power lies is in mobilizing the people to push for these issues. Medicare for all being a big one that I think that we can really get the working class people to mobilize around that.
Great. Now, I think Erica had a question ahead of you, Paul.
Hi, Angelica.
Hi.
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out how to put my hand down. Well, first, I just want to start by thanking Healthcare for All San Fernando Valley, initiating this and for inviting us to co-host. It is so fun working with our neighbor. And Angelica, we at HCA LA are huge fans. We would have loved to have been in the process of endorsing you, but the state said we could no longer endorse congressional candidates. So we missed that opportunity, but please know we fully support you and appreciate you. And I find you personally to be a huge inspiration. And I've known you for many years, the first time that you ran. And I know that you are genuine and the real deal. So having said that, when you get elected to Congress, you're going to be in a new environment. It might feel pretty lonely. You're going to be on a major learning curve, and there are going to be establishment Democrats that are going to be super nice to you, totally help you out. Probably maybe even including Nancy Pelosi. I still remember once the squad got in, I remember they were on the cover of Time with her. And then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would refer to her as Mama Bear. And as you know, Nancy Pelosi brings in her number one funder to the Democratic Party is the medical industrial complex. So how will so it's human nature that you'll be in this bubble, right? And they'll be so nice. So how will you maintain the ability to call them out and hold them accountable, which I'm seeing is not happening by many progressive members, and even those that are members of the Progressive Caucus?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree that I'm disappointed in the lack of speaking out and being truthful. And you can be truthful and not have to be aggressive about it. And so I mean my job, I feel, is to tell the truth and to fight for what is right. I'm not going in there to make friends. It will be great to make friends, but I'm there to do a job, and it's going to be to get these policies passed, to get resources to my community, and to speak truth to power. I don't know. I don't have. I think that I run into this here locally where people are like taken aback that of my lack of concern of people's status and what have you, or clubs, or I don't know, like this expectation of where like these establishment groups have this automatic respect, and that they are not to be called out, and that you are not to be acting out in these environments, you know. And you know, that's not something that I'm able to do. I speak my mind, and you know, I speak out, and so I hope to be able to stay true to that, and I hope to be held accountable by my community, because that's my plan. My plan is to be in office or in Congress for 6 years, and so three terms, and let's see what we can do with that. I think that we can do a lot, and I think that we can show and prove that, you know, you don't have to be in there for uh, decades and decades in order to make things happen. So my plan is to be strong and to get things done. And you know, this is a public service, and I think that 6 years of my life to be dedicated to my community in this way is a long time for me. And I plan to take that time, not to take that time for granted, to take that time very, very seriously, and to work very hard. And I'm not there to get on magazine covers and whatever. It will be nice to use our platform, and if we can use that, you know, the social media and the media to get our message out there, great. But that's not what I'm looking for.
Thanks.
Paul, your time.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Angelica. It's good to see you. Excuse me. By the way, I love your blouse. It's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, my question is kind of twofold. The first one is, there's a lot of doctors that are afraid that they're not going to make as much money if we go to a single payer system. These are doctors that have to spend half their day trying to file claims and get the claims approved, and have to refile them, given the runaround, and you know, meanwhile they have to pay they have to pay employees as part of their cost to process the claims. And also they have to do them themselves, and they're spending a lot of time and not enough time for the patient. How do you tell these doctors, what are you going to tell them when they say to you, you know, we're not going to get as much money? How are you going to address that? So
I think that we have to show them the data. I know there's a number of studies that have shown that not only would it not cost, you know, or would it not be more costly, it would actually be a lot cheaper, and the doctor's offices would be more efficient and more able to actually treat the patient and expend their resources with medical staff and actually dealing with their patient and caring for their patient. You know, we have to just hope that we have enough data, you know, available to show them. I think that it's important that we do take a look at the rates and making sure that, you know, people are going to be compensated adequately and all that good stuff, and to be able to create legislation that looks at all of that, you know what I mean, and takes all of these things into account, because that's very important, right? You know, medical professionals, they dedicate their lives to treat you know, people, and they deserve to be compensated. But you know, it's been shown that not only will they save money, it will actually make their offices a lot more efficient. And you know, the fear of their care being controlled by government is actually not true. If you talk to Medicare doctors, they'll let you know that, you know, they treat their patient and they get paid, you know, their check gets cut. So it's a very efficient way, and enhanced Medicare for all, where we know that Medicare currently in its current state is not perfect. So enhanced Medicare where it includes, chiropractic, acupuncture, durable care equipment, ear, eyes, like dental and everything, right? All inclusive is what we're pushing for, and this is what we demand. And it would make actually getting paid a whole lot easier, and they would be making more money because more people would be seeing the doctor, and it actually would be beneficial for the doctor's offices. So hopefully we can have enough data to show them that that's not true.
Any other questions from anybody? Otherwise, I'll ask you another question, Angelica.
Okay.
Dennis, you have a question. Go ahead, Dennis.
As you're knocking on doors, what are you finding people are most concerned with right now?
Well, really, to be honest, the main issue has been the unhoused community. Here in the East San Fernando Valley, it's gotten really, really bad. And so what we have in my community, the conversations that I'm hearing is people who want to see people housed, who want to see people cared for because they're seeing the healthcare, necessity, mental health needs, substance abuse, and all of that. At the same time, they themselves are struggling, and so they want to make sure that that the resources are that we're seeing from government are not just for a small groups of our society, one could say, right? The unhoused make a smaller percentage of the the general population, but it's a very important issue that the general population is dealing with. But at the same time, here in my community, it's like, people are struggling. They're like, we're working 80 hours a week. I'm selling things out on the street. I'm living with like 2 other families, so I'm not unhoused. I want to make sure that we are helped too. So it's a complicated issue. You know what I mean? People want to see people in a better place, and at the same time, they don't want to be left behind. Like, what are the solutions that we can get to really address the problems? And when we talk about healthcare, and we talk about healthcare for universal healthcare, we talk about affordable housing, government owned affordable housing, quality affordable housing, including wraparound services for those who need it. And let's be honest, we need to address the issues that there's people that need 24/7 care that don't have a family member that's going to be able to do it. We need to find solutions for those people because they don't deserve to be in jail. They don't deserve to be out on the street. So these are the things that people, they're looking at it in a very complicated way, because at the same time, it's like, we want to make sure that the solutions that we're getting, the whole community is going to be able to benefit. So what can we do instead of like these like little pod houses that, like, if I'm living with 2 families in a garage, I'd rather stay there than go to a pod housing, right? But so what are we doing about actual long-term permanent housing, things like that? These are the things that people are talking about, and lack of jobs in general.
Right. Sandra, you had a question?
Hi, yes. My question was to Angelica. Angelica, I really support you, and I really, wish that you are elected for the next election. So I'm really excited about your running again. But my question was, what do you think about many states attempting to overturn Roe versus Wade?
I think that it's horrific. I think that it's something that I, as a young person, when I was in school, and this was something that we read about in the history books and things like that, that I never thought that I was going to see the day that it was a reality, where Roe versus Wade was really in danger. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it in Texas and in other states where women's rights are being taken away. I think it's awful. I think that we need to stand in solidarity with women in those states. I know right now in Texas, there's a woman who's facing murder charges for actually having a miscarriage through maybe she drank something, and because she was scared, and so she couldn't get an actual abortion. And so they're forcing women to put their own lives in danger in order for what, right? This right-wing agenda that is being pushed in these states. So I think that we need to I guess in reality, we need to make sure that we stand strong and make a movement. We need to be out in the street. We need to march. We need to make sure that we get these laws protected in the states that are facing danger, and to overturn them in Texas and in other states that have already. So we need to fight. We need to fight. And so I stand in solidarity with all the organizers that are doing the work. And here, we stand in solidarity, but I think it's very important for local women in these states to have that support and that empowerment. So I'd love to be able to support, those types of movements, because it's very necessary.
Right. Any other questions from anybody? Otherwise, I'll ask a question. In my opinion, the biggest opponent of single payer is the Democrat Party types that were cheering for the Affordable Care Act as the final solution to healthcare issues. How do you plan to approach those Democrats that, like your opponent, do not mention Medicare for all, and they claim that the Affordable Care Act is all that is needed?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if obviously I want to make it very clear what the Affordable Care Act is. It's basically a guaranteed profit for the private healthcare industry. So with the Affordable Care Act, all it makes it is that the government now subsidizes private healthcare. That's all it really is doing. So you end up picking a health plan through the exchange or whatever, however it works locally, even through, if you have here in California's Medi-Cal or Medicaid in other states, you end up having to pick an HMO, which also puts you into a health plan, etc. So all the Affordable Care Act, all it did was really guarantee the private, insurance companies to have guaranteed income. It actually made it so that we got forced to buy insurance one way or another. And there's a lot of people who don't qualify for the exchange, and they're in that weird, space where they can't qualify for the exchange for a subsidized rate, and they also can't afford to pay the regular rate. So they end up getting fined for not having healthcare, and or purchasing really terrible coverage that they can afford, but it's really for a catastrophe, where if something really crazy happens, maybe you'll have like a $10,000 deductible or something crazy like that. So this is what the Affordable Care Act is. It's really terrible. It's a patch in a big, you could say like a big leak and a big hole out of this, of the ship. The ship is sinking, and they just put a patch to it. And I am very grateful for, the getting rid of the pre-existing condition clauses, and raising up the age of being able to cover children dependents, you know what I mean? And there's a few things that Affordable Care Act made a lot better, However, it's nowhere near what we deserve. And it's just honestly a comeuppance for the private healthcare industry. It's really actually awful.
Al, we have a question in the chat from
Yeah.
Mario. Mario is asking, congressional candidate Jason Call in Washington said if elected, he'd want to start an actual progressive caucus. How do you feel about that?
I joined the actual progressive caucus. Let's see how many people we can get. That'd be good because like if they list our caucuses by ABC order, you know what I mean? That's so smart. I'm in. And
I need,
oh,
go ahead.
I did want to mention too, like if people haven't been keeping up with our race, and I didn't mention in our intro, is that in 2020, we did so good in to get through to the primary. I only raised $8,000 or so, and we were able to get to the general. And then during the general, we raised less than $80,000. And so we were able to get over 43% of the vote, 43.3% of the vote. That's over 91,000 votes with less than $80,000, with an all volunteer staff, with raw data. We didn't have VAN or NPG or PDI and all of that stuff. We didn't have any of it. It was raw data and like Google Sheets, you know, and that is how we ran 100% volunteers, just bare bones campaign. This time around, I've already raised over $55,000 for the primary, which is great. Some people are like, oh my gosh, Angelica, you should be like at $350,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like 7 times better than where I was before. You know, we don't need $1 million and you know, all of these endorsements, and it'd be great. I mean, it makes things a whole lot easier. Please don't let me convince you not to donate. Please do. But it goes to show that, you know, we did all of that with you know, $80,000 and no major endorsement, like no AOC, no Bernie, no you know, Justice Democrats, no of these, like these, they you know, they call it like the must-haves in order to win. This is what we did without able to knock on doors because of COVID, without being able to do all these things. I had to be a at-home teacher all of a sudden because my kids ended up having to be at home. Like I mentioned, I have kids. I have 5 kids. 4 of them were students at the time. So I had 4 students at the house. We had to mess with tablets. I mean, it was a very complicated situation that we were dealt with, and how successful we were. And I don't want to jinx it, but we are looking so good. We have a very small gap. We have like an 8-point gap to close, and we have so much runway to do it because, you know, we have now the know-how. We have better, you know, resources. We have new people who are helping us out, who really know how to look at data and strategize. So this is a great opportunity we have here in the East San Fernando Valley, that, you know, we are going to have 2 Democrats face to face once again in the 29th district. And, you know, the people have, you know, nothing to lose but to do better or stay the same, you know. And so what a beautiful opportunity that we have here in the East San Fernando Valley. And I think that we just need enough people out here to help us out, get the word out. If you're not able to come on out, please donate. You know, it's an uphill battle. It's not guaranteed, but it's a very realistic fight that we have here in the East San Fernando Valley, and we are ready to really be dedicated to the issues that matter for our community. I'm not just fighting, you know, fighting for my community. I'm fighting alongside the community. I am here living the struggle. I have been, and I'm ready to put people first. So
Good. Metzel, you have a question.
Hello, and it's Metzley. It's okay.
Metzley.
Yes,
Metzley.
I know, it's very rare. Hi, hello, Angelica. How are you? And I'm just so grateful to had this opportunity to be on here and talk to you. I've been following you since 2015. I have a question in regards to the homeless and in not just in our area, but in, oh, I'm so sorry. Not only in our area, but in the whole state of California, there's issues in regards to homelessness and or poverty, especially in the areas like Central Valley. A lot of these homeless have come from other states and come here because their states don't provide a lot of the healthcare and also the health through, CalFresh. That seems to not be in every state. I wish it was, because I think it would really help the people in each of those states. How would you, or what would be your outline into representing, kind of letting Congress know about what's happening here in California and seeing if there's a possibility for other states to kind of step in and take their people? Because I mean, a lot of the times it's like, oh, California, there's a lot of homeless. There's like this kind of talk about how we're the richest state, but we have so much poverty. But I don't think people quite understand the underbelly of it, where a lot of these, residents aren't from here; they're from other states. How would you kind of, bring that about into Congress?
Yes, no, thank you so much for bringing that forward. And we haven't addressed this specifically, but it is an issue that we care about. And we've been listening and to be hearing that a lot of people who are unhoused here in Los Angeles and California in general are actually refugees, one could say, from across the country, because it's been either because of the weather, right? They're leaving harsh weather areas, or because it's been made illegal to be unhoused in their communities, in their states, by passing laws such as, like we're seeing now here, where it's illegal to sleep in your car, where it's illegal to sleep in the sidewalk, and all of that. So, and like you mentioned, also there in other states, programs like Medi-Cal and EBT or CalFresh are not existent. So, this is the harsh reality. So I think that we need to do a better job of bringing that forward, bringing that attention to it, and to get real solutions, like you said, figuring out ways to get people back, to their communities. Nobody really wants to up and leave everything that they know, their family members. We should be able to create solutions that allow people to thrive within their communities, that they don't have to leave their communities. I mean, so we see that in the unhoused population, people moving in, similar to how people here in Los Angeles have to move to like Lancaster and Palmdale, in the Antelope Valley and things like that, if they want to purchase a home. So what we're dealing with is literally economic refugees. Like, we are dealing with this is like third world country stuff, and this is the truth. This is America. So I think that we need to do a better job of bringing attention to this, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, Melly. Yes, absolutely true. We are seeing a lot of non-locals or non-California residents in the unhoused community, and it is because of the lack of resources and opportunities in their home states.
Anita, it's your turn now.
What I was going to say is not a question as much as a comment that goes back to the very beginning of the questions, and is also connected a little later. And that was the question about the doctors and concerns about money, and justifiable, but also what you were saying about the Affordable Care Act. There are many doctors and medical students, fortunately, who are in favor of single payer, because they recognize actually they would possibly benefit from it financially, aside from having the right motivation and going into medicine to take care of people rather than just to make money. Because if we do not stay with something like the Affordable Care Act, which keeps for-profit insurance companies in the picture, and that already eliminates the potential for benefit, then the money would not be going as it is now to insurance companies, where you have clerks who will deny care because it costs them money. And so there would be more money available for the doctors to get paid better. And that's where it should be going, is to help the people to not have to go into bankruptcy, and also to benefit the physicians who are doing the actual work. And so these two issues are very important. And when Obama was in Illinois and was in government there, he was a strong single payer supporter. It wasn't until he got to Washington, and that's the danger, is being threatened by the opposition, where he pulled back. And I remember arguing with the television set when he was speaking about medical care. And at that time, they were talking about a public option. And he didn't even bring that up at first. And he's going on about various things, and I'm yelling at, what about the public option? Finally, he said it in one sentence and immediately said it wasn't a deal breaker. And it was so disappointing, because he had really been a staunch supporter. So it's a matter of having the courage, as you seem to have, to be able to maintain this position and make it clear to the public that it's a benefit for the patients and for the physicians to have a program like this. That's all.
Well, I guess that we're getting to the end of the hour. So Angelica, if you have something that you like to say at the end of this town hall, this is the time.
Yes. Well, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for everybody who was able to make it out tonight on Wednesday evening. I really do appreciate your time. And everyone who's taken the time to watch this after the fact, thank you so much. I really do. I'm grateful for your time and your interest. I want to say that it's very important to support candidates who are corporate free, who are showing you through the money that they're taking, because you don't bite the hand that feeds you, is what they say. That really tells you a lot, and that it's very important to support grassroots candidates. So if there is anybody local to you that you are interested in helping, please reach out to them, and I'm sure they can use your help. I know that if you're out here in East San Fernando Valley, in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, please, angelicaforcongress.com. If you're able to donate, please do. Like I mentioned before, we were able to get over 43% of the vote with a very little funding. Our plans is to close that gap, and we have a whole lot of room to do it. Tony Cardenas has suddenly come out to say that he endorses Medicare for all, but he hasn't done anything for it. In fact, he keeps on pushing the Affordable Care Act, and keeps on just holding on to that. He just recently was talking about this new bill that he helped pass, where now those people who have insurance and they deal with a hospital bill that maybe somebody who served you was out of network, you can negotiate the price down to in-network rates. And if you guys know, insurance is kind of messy, but basically what he was able to do is to help out the insured be a little bit less bad off. So these are the people that already have insurance to be like. So again, he's focusing on these band-aid solutions to problems where at the end of it all, the only ones that really benefit is the insurance companies, and paying less out for healthcare that we need and we deserve. So and on top of that, and by the way, Tony says it doesn't include an ambulance bill though. Thank you very much. So my father, if you don't know, he actually passed away in 2020 in the middle of the campaign time in August. So we made it through in March. The election was in November. He passed away in August. And really, we don't know, you know, what if it would have been a difference. You know, my dad was like, don't call 911, it's okay, let's just go. And he, you know, we got into my car and we turned 2 corners and my dad passed away in my car. My dad died in my car. And we ended up getting that ambulance bill anyway, you know. And so this is the reality that people are facing. We are making life and death decisions fearing a medical bill. And this is the reality. So I am ready to put everything on the line to make sure that we get these policies passed. I'm ready to take power and wield it and to empower our community. I hope to be able to have an office space that's big enough to share with my community. My office space will be a community empowerment center where we have enough rooms and spaces to have community organized, to have field trips, to have workshops, and to really teach the community how to organize, empower themselves, and to really be an example to other communities of what community power looks like and what we can do with it. So I am really looking forward to all the work that we'll be able to do in Congress, but most importantly, outside of Congress with the community, using my platform, my position of power to really empower the people.
Great. Well, listen, we're going to make a video, thanks to Paul's video editing abilities. We're going to make a video of this Zoom town hall. It will make it available to everybody through our connections. So I'm looking forward to June 7th, right? That's the primary, and looking forward to what's going to happen after that. So Angelica, thank you very much. We really appreciate your emotion and your positiveness about everything. So thank you, everybody, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Alberto.
Good night.
Good night, Angelica. Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Dessa. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
I'm going to
Alberto.
stop recording. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm very touched. Let's see who oh my gosh, look at 17 people, you guys.